Okay. It's not really about what's true, it's about your capacity for true. So, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's already beyond negotiation at this point. So feudalism of spirit through psyche, cult of personality into the culture war energy. The grifters making, well, for me it's a grift, but if you're in the trenches of societal programming and you identify your value with said structure, which has proven to piss and shit on everyone ever since the dawn of time, if you still are caught up in the trauma loop convictions of value based off hierarchy, then you will be your ego will be tempered through this kind of stuff. And you will be activated and committed to your role in connection to the culture war. And then many people will have perspectives which hold some truth, and many won't. So capacity for truth. If you haven't figured it out already, it never ends, you know. The more answers you get, the more questions, and then later on, new answers supersede previous. And so you realize you've been climbing on a branch. It's not the roots. It's not the real. You've been in the trivial. You've been in the mental. Up where the wind's blowing. Let's see if the app works today. Let's see if we can illustrate an example of what this could be. Is this thing working? Fuck. Alright, let's do the Uranian thing here. Alright. When in doubt, reboot out. It's the golden ticket. Reset. It works for everything, not just societies, cultures, races, beliefs. It works for technology. It's fractal. What the hell? Alright, like that. That looks fractal, kind of. Alright, so, I guess we could use this. Let's just add a couple layers. I don't know what the heck this was. I think I was testing out some settings here. Alright, so let's go green. I gotta stand for this. We need a little bit darker here. Okay, here's the polis, this weird looking lion thing, cartoon thing. Alright. Here's culture 1 right here. Let's Oh, we need a little bit. Occult. One right here. Alright. Now let's go with another culture. This one's more of an engineered culture, like in a lab or something. The lab of the mind, of think tanks all over throughout time. It might like have these abilities to seed themselves and set existing, but only in ways which are beneficial to new culture here. It's radiating. It's a new potential where the utopian dream can be realized, and it's the outer shell is blinding. It's this light of Aquarius which shows you we can do better, and we got what it takes, you know. Alright, so this is called 2. We'll just call it C2 to make it easier. Alright, now let's do this. We've got this little one here. It's always orbiting the polis. It's got like a 48 million year orbit, and it goes counterclockwise to paradigm. Okay, it appears progressive because it actually is, but it's so progressive that it is regressive because it cannot function with said mimicry. So this culture here, we'll call it C3. It's not in 3D reality. It's not in the isness. It's part of consciousness. It's the understanding that within all of whatever is conception is this. And there is a contrast divide, a swell, a wake of creation. The Tao, we could call it maybe. And this wake of creation is always moving, always creating. And in that creation we fall into spectrum of analysis where it's degradation or destruction or progression, regression, whatever. Because we can't see out here because we're in here. You know, we're rattling around between these things. So we're in this age of Aquarius energy, the Uranian field. It's in everything, you know. It's this guy's got it too, you know. But it is a resonance, a call so old that it's new. It's an understanding of golden rule level value based off of the felt presence of your experience, without the programming, without the entrainment, the coaching, the getting along to get along. You know, people, they sell themselves out, myself included, everyone. Unknowingly, it is, if you're in relation, you have to figure out what's the best way for you to be in relation, and you have to find a need, a cause for life, you know. One of the best ways to find value in life is to have children. That's one of the best, because it grounds you to purpose. There is a form with a greater purpose than the self that brings you into a function. Okay, that's like a natural contribution to reality, or it has been. That's how the species has survived. So there are certain obligations in relation to reality when you have children. And you are forced to find what is the value in this stuff, the polis, or encouraged, natured, nurtured into finding the value, creating the value. So it helps this, you know. And it not only helps this, but it helps everything else, because the diversity aspect here of all beings, all life forms. Alright, so Cult 1 is established program, protocols, probably way more vast than I could ever conceive, so I'm not even going to try to. But it's history, it's the logismoi of experience. We hand it up, hand it down. Okay, then we've got this. This is our man-made creation, the demiurge. It is the division, the individuation of a self in relation to the creator, which is our parents first. Then we realize it's not the parents, it's the planet. Then we realize it's not the planet, it's the space outside the planet, and we realize it's not that, it's something else, and we keep going. Then we try and figure out, well, what can we just call it? So this God energy finds form, sometimes in a anthropomorphized version, sometimes in cycles, sometimes in denial. So this God form here coming up, the energies of change are seeding in to the divisions here, you know, the feudalism of spirit. The feudalism of spirit is a Rubik's Cube, and it's starting to change in relation to elementalize. Like, imagine if you poured a bunch of chemicals or elements. I don't know chemistry. I'm not a schooled person. You mix everything together, they at first they're together, and they just gradually they sink into resonance with like. And for people that are identified, over-identified with programming, with polis, with relation to culture, society, the history, the things that they feel give them strength, and the tribe energy, you know, that familial camaraderie spirit that we need in life, they're sitting down here in the trenches. They're grinding against one another. There's a refinement happening. There are spirits being realized, being born in the pressure. These will be the change makers of this world. But they may not be change makers in the ways that are noticed. They could be martyrs, they could be tyrants, they could be victim saviors, and they could also be Tesla or Buddha or Krishna or Jesus or Lao Tzu or anyone. Could be you. And maybe these change makers, they have a small radius of, how do I do this here? No. Plus. Alright. So a change maker may only have affect their local community or family. Or they could affect, you know, the neighborhood, the city, or the state, or the country, or whatever, you know. And all these little energies are being born into this new. Is this red? What the fuck color is it? This ain't red. This is red, I think. So the change energy, you know, it's the hot spots of these little pockets of relation, and the energies that are currently holding frame are trying to draw Promethean energies to them for the cause. At the same time they're doing that, they're trying to destroy the purity of the essence of what it is to be alive, which is that golden rule stuff. So it wants to negate the other in relation to a resonance of entrainment. So what you've identified with You can only be in relation through that, and the polis will give you power in that position as long as it serves function for this new form that's coming into being. Right, how do I bring this thing back? So, what the hell? There we go. Fit the screen. Alright, so the energies are coming out, but we've got this underground railroad energy of spirit where true individuation is happening at an individual level. Okay, these are the shapers. The truth isn't necessarily regulated or relegated to function in form of mimicry for the demiurge. You know, the archonic possession of shadow projection doesn't, it may rise in these individuals, but it rises in a way which serves them as they're learning in the process, and they're helping others to learn as well. So these people have a affinity and natural understanding of cycle. They may not have the language. They may be entrained in dogma, rituals of the polis religions, or scientism, or whatever experiences they've identified with. But they understand that all things are changed. The only static is dynamic. And the truth is a process. It is only set in stone when you quit growing. You know, and if you set your vital truths as something connected to this, you will learn through the death of absolution that your denials held you. But you will learn. You know, we all burn for something. We can't not be here and learning. So even here, there's this. So what is the C2, the culture 2, the new thing that's attempted to be manufactured? The demiurge energy. A lot of these people, they understand cycle. I feel a lot of them are, majority of them are just possessed. You know, it's an entrainment of larger scale cycles. You know, you rise in the industry and you become the industry. That's how it works. You become, the less of your individual nature you are, the more of something else you become. And if you identify with saving the world, that's what you become, and you find the form that rises from that. Or you're lured into the cycle of previous archetypical expression for functions in the changing times, or so it could seem. Now, not all these people are bad or are doing bad, but a lot of them are. So no matter where you are in all this here, get in touch with the value of yourself. What is the value in you that's in everyone? How do you honor that in yourself first? Bring that forward. Then you can ride these waves of the culture war, the feudalism of spirit, and save your fire for what matters when it matters. Because it will happen. You know, we can't orchestrate all disasters in reality. There are going to be some that are real, and we are such a short-sighted group as we are purifying into the ignorance of a mental expression. Emphasis on mental. We must learn through the physicality. You know, you learn not to eat or drink certain things when the body punishes you, reminds you, teaches you. So we're coming to these sobering realizations, and Mother Earth will help us with that. So help yourself first, that way when things really do go crazy, you've got enough fire to burn for you and those you care about. Alright, I don't know what this was, but let's see.